Welcome back to another Minecraft video, and this week I'm back on the Minesomnia server with a second episode. Right now I'm in the Minesomnia shopping district. You might recognize new shops that have popped up in this area. There's a very impressive new town hall building. Now when I joined the server about 2 weeks ago, the inside of this building was still empty, but basically McQueen, who is a member of this SMP server, built this place completely by himself, which is just unbelievable. Since I joined the Minesomnia server, I have not done a proper tour of the shopping district yet, but next week in my video, I will be coming back to the shopping district to give you a full tour of this area, which will include me participating in some of the new activities that have just popped up, and I will also be starting my new shop on this server. And let's just say that before I start working on the shop, there is one automatic farm that is very important for me to build, and I expect that building this farm is going to take up the most of the rest of this video. So if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, you should consider doing that. This way you will not miss out on my next episode when it comes out. And with that said, it's time to go back to my starter base to start working on our project. If you watched my last episode on the Minesomnia server, you might remember that I took over a village safe house that is not too far away from the shopping district, and I turned it into my temporary starter base, which is basically an underground bunker. If you come down here with me through this tunnel, the starter base is basically right underneath this safe house. I have done some basic decoration to make this place look cozy. And here we have a nice living room with an aquarium and a fireplace, and from time to time I've been sleeping back here. But when I was laying out my starter base, I wanted to make sure that this part of the base looks a little bit more industrial, because I'm going to use this part of my underground base to access all of the production projects that I'll be building on this server. And behind this door, there's a tunnel that will take us to a new area that I have been developing over the past 2 weeks. And I've already dug out a space for the cactus farm that we'll be building in this episode. So let's go check it out. So you can probably guess from the thumbnail of this video that I'll be building a cactus farm, and that is because I need a lot of green color for the new shop that I have planned out for the shopping district, and the space that I have planned out for this farm is right here. I have basically dug out a giant cube underground, and each side of this cube is 17 blocks. And of course, if you're building this in your own world, you should feel free to adjust the size of this farm. I'm not trying to go for crazy production with this farm. In fact, this farm will be relatively compact, and right here I'm just putting down a small output system for this farm. Basically, this is where all the production will end up. And now it's time to work on the farm itself, and here off to the side I'm putting some ladders. This underground farm is going to have many layers, and having a ladder on the side will give us better access to each layer. This way, it will be easier for us to make changes to the farm later on. And after putting down some hoppers, the next thing we have to do is to figure out a system so the items will end up on top of the hopper. But before we get to that point, I just wanted to show you the basic concept of this cactus farm. So for each in-game tick, a cactus plant has a small chance of growing 1 block taller. If you place certain blocks, such as a fence post 1 block off to the side, just like this, the new growth on the cactus plant will basically be converted into an item. And by the way, let's walk through some of the materials that we'll be using to build this cactus farm. We're going to need some cactus and sand. Let's also make sure to have some fence posts, half slabs of your choice, and a lot of water buckets. And we also need some full blocks, as well as some signs. So 1 block above the top hopper, I'm going to put down 1 layer of blocks so that we can put in a water collection system. This way you can have a water current which pushes everything into the hopper to be collected. Just keep in mind that on a flat surface, water can travel up to 8 blocks. And you can use signs to control the direction of the water current. And that is exactly what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to put down some water source. As you can see here, the signs that we put down earlier actually prevent water from flowing further. Meanwhile, any items that are being flushed down by the water will just keep going and they will be picked up by the next water current, which in a nutshell is basically how this water collection system works. So I just put down some more signs, and I'm seeing some bug fixes that need to be addressed. Basically, in order for this water collection system to be highly efficient, all the drops should be automatically collected, which is not the case here. In particular, if something drops on this specific block, because there's no water current to take it away, it will just stay here. Now, it is possible that those static items will eventually be pushed down by other entities, but it turns out that it does not happen if the other entities are traveling too slow. So for example, here, if I throw down my diamond gear at the end of this water stream, it is simply not going to be traveling fast enough to be picked up by the next water current, which is not good because that means we could potentially have cacti being stuck on this block and not being picked up by our system. So I have some ideas as for how to fix this, and I'll be right back. So I flew far away to gather some ice, and I've just crafted myself some blue ice. I think that should solve our water collection system problem, but we'll see. And the way I'm going to fix this is pretty simple. I will be replacing the block underneath the sign with a blue ice, and I will implement this change throughout this water collection system. And let's check out the results. With the addition of blue ice, as long as an item comes into contact with the water current, it will be pushed into the hopper to be collected. And if by any chance a cactus ends up on this block, it will always be pushed down by other cacti that flow through the system. And the next thing that we have to do here is to fill up the rest of the water, and we're ready to move on to the next stage of building this farm. So while I was working on my base, we seem to have an intruder here. I'm going to show you what is going on. And no, I'm not talking about a zombie over there, even though he is an intruder. Basically, someone came into my base and turned all of my sheep lime. I thought that this was a funny prank, and I have heard that other members on the server are also getting random lime stuff in their base. So using the process of elimination, I think I know who may be behind this prank. So yeah, comment down below and let me know how I should respond to this prank. And now it's time to undo the prank, and we'll get back to farm building very soon. I'm going to start with something simple, which is putting down one layer of half slabs, just 2 to 3 blocks above the water collection system we just built. I guess you could also use full blocks here, it's really your choice. But now that I've filled in this layer, we have a little bit of space to work with. So I lost part of my recording footage here, which is why there's a little bit of a jump in my building process. But as you can see here, I'm just putting some sand with cacti on top. I have also installed some fence posts. And like I said earlier, I'm not looking for a huge production with this cactus farm. And in my case, this one layer of farm has only 49 cacti in it, which comes down to 7 cacti per column and a total of 7 columns per layer. Now theoretically, I could put in even more cacti to increase production. However, since cactus plants in Minecraft have the tendency to break entities, adding more cacti here could increase production, but ironically, it will actually reduce the efficiency of this farm. Ilmango has done a 2-part series where he tested the efficiency of different types of cactus farm designs. And this design I'm using here, despite its simplicity, it actually has a pretty high efficiency. And of course, you can check out Ilmango's videos down below in the description. And right now, I'm just setting up the space so that cacti have a place to drop down into the water system. If you're copying my layout exactly, you just have to start with the cactus plants on each corner and count 4 blocks diagonally toward the middle, and replace that block with a sign. And of course, you have to repeat this process 4 times, once for each corner. And the next thing I'm going to do is to find the cactus plant that is in the exact middle of this farm, and do this. And the last thing that we need to do to finish this layer is to put down some water source to surround the sand blocks. So right now our farm is actually taking shape and I'm seeing some production going on. So as you can see here, we already have some items in this chest. Of course, the half slabs and the torches were flushed down during the construction process, but it's safe to say that our automatic cactus farm is now functioning. So I just wanted to show you the final product that I have here. I did add a second layer of cacti to slightly boost the production of this farm. And follow me back here because I want to show you a different view of this farm. Basically, if you climb up this ladder, here is a little platform that I put down to help me build the second layer. and I think I just saw some cactus being flushed down the system. And in fact, I was AFK for a little bit around this farm just to see how efficient this farm is. And here are the results. As you can see here, I was AFK for 2 hours exactly, and this farm, which has a total of 98 cactus plants, produced a little bit over 400 items during that period. And by the time I upload my next video, I should definitely have enough green dye to construct my first shop on a Minesomnia server. And with that said, I'm running out of time for this video. In my next video, I'm going to tour the Minesomnia shopping district, and I'm really excited. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week.